Peace and blessings, family. Sister Ajali. This is going to be a long share, I'm sure. I don't know, because it's not like I time these things. But I humbly request, because this channel ain't nothing without you, that you watch the whole share all the way through. You leave comment if you feel like, well, she would read my comments. I read every comment. I reply to just about every comment, and it's okay if you don't agree with me, if you do so civilly and you don't mind a rebuttal from me, that I will do my best to be even more civil so that we can reach an agreement. Many times others convince me to reconsider what I have put forward in whatever I've shared that video. Most times, no, that's not the case, because we are separate people, and that's simply the truth. And I am about separation. In order to get away from all this lunacy, it is absolutely contingent, because they've been working on us so much, and they found the weak chink in our armor, which is our womanhood, the womanhood of our blackhood, and that means black men as the just natural leaders of our nation, and women as a strong, vital participant in that leadership. But as we can see with the collapse of feminism, and I always say, if women were meant to be the goddess or the god, the way that they present it, then the black community would be stronger, because the white man hunted the black man out strategically and precisely in order to introduce more chaos into our generational legacies, one to the next. So what got me needing to speak today about the subject matter, which it all amazingly makes sense, because this article right here, I always go and check out Zero Hedge, and this article just struck me with how deceptive it is. And it's not accidental. This image right here, an AI generated, portrait, royal portrait of what is obviously, you could just look at him, that's supposed to be Biden, though they made his face look a little more natural, as if he hadn't had plastic surgery. And then this clearly black woman on the side, that in the title they say King Biden and Queen Harris. This AI generated image, they couldn't make it look exactly like Kamala Harris. They put a authentically black woman up there, because we know Kamala Harris isn't black, and it's been broadcast nationally, that means internationally, since every single country just about pays attention to the American elections or the United States elections. They couldn't put another woman. And another interesting thing I found out about this article down at the bottom, which is really, I've been noticing lately on Zero Hedge, they're not allowing comments. We're sorry. We were unable to load comments at this time. No, that's BS, because it'll be specific articles that would be controversial with their subscribers, and they're almost to the letter racist. So even if there's something happening that doesn't involve black people, if it seems as if it's embarrassing for white people, and they don't publish too much embarrassing about white people on Zero Hedge, just about black us, then they're sorry, but we were unable to load comments at this time. No, because they don't want people to mention the fact that, wait a minute, even the racists might say, that's not, what's wrong with you guys? That's not Kamala, So I went to the site where Zero Hedge had borrowed this AI or this article from, And it's such a, King Biden and Queen Harris overrule Supreme Court on student debt forgiveness. The reason why this is just really, really strange is because on Mishtalk, I don't know anything about Mishtalk, but when you go and you look at their other articles with their thumbnails on those, it's usually just a pretty lame graph. And it was Dr. Shi who even suggested, he's like, well, go see what the other articles look like, because that'll tell you a lot about the focus of what they share. And suddenly, they change everything to this. All of a sudden, and it's on Zero Hedge. And the dudes on Zero Hedge, all white guys and lots of white women, can't say a word against it. So this is, in my conclusion, meant to be strong programming, because they very much wanted Kamala Harris to represent black women. They didn't think that we would say a mumbling word against her, because we would be so complimented. So look, she's going to be the first black female, black-like. Well, she's not black, and in California, she didn't like us at all. And I saw one cackling interview where she was just like, with just a stroke of my pen, I can destroy people. It's like, what? That's supposed to be the next president, and black women are supposed to be supporting that? There are bunches and bunches of sisters who don't support Kamala Harris. But that's another portion of this. And before I get to the next portion, which is Procyon Owens, I just want to show how this is, I am actually subscribed, because I'm paying severe attention to what's going on in China, because I know that a lot of it's already going on over here, and they want to export it, and it's very complicated. I would do a whole share about it, but I don't think we would watch it. But we should be watching what's going on with China. So this was just uploaded 22 hours ago, and I even left a comment that I know was utterly shadow banned. I said, she's not black, right? If it was a person out there with 1/4 white, ain't no white person claiming them. If there was a Chinese person with or not a Chinese person, but a person with 1/4 Chinese people wouldn't be claiming them. But for some reason, we're just like the trash heap of the planet. They could just, they got a 250-second drop. Oh, that makes them black as heck. No, it doesn't. You could go look up, what was the name? Eartha Kitt. Her granddaughter calls herself a white girl. She looked totally white, and she ain't never getting with no black person. I saw, I did a share on my old channel they took down, and she was dating some very white guy. Even with Muhammad Ali's grandson, I realized in the share I did with him, or not with him, but about him, that he was with this white girl. But he was whiter than she was. He was so pale. Look at him. Like, what? And he looks like he was born that pale. I'm just saying. This whole idea of, one drop of blackness, that's all you need. No, that is being imposed on us by our oppressors, so they can infiltrate us, just as beloved Chancellor Williams told us, with people who are desperate to be white, desperate to be acknowledged by the other half of what they call themselves. So, folks have been trying to acclimate us to being oppressed, keeping us on either Plantation A, Plantation B, or with Demon A, Demon B, still all in hell. And Procyon Dance Owens was refused admittance into Australia, and because they accuse her of being two far-right extremists. Now, that's in Huffington Post, and we know that they are like dripping with wokery. But at the same time, really? If she was the standard, most of America would not be able to go on over to Australia, let alone all these politicians of every single color, because they all, Democrats and Republicans, bow down to the agenda. I just watched yesterday a video that I'll do a separate share on, maybe not, but it was like it was difficult for me to watch, so I sort of sped through it, where Trump was doing an interview that with Joe Rogan, the big famous one, and that's the reason why they're firing all of these, network newscasters, because that false facade that social media puts out here, that it's just the regular people and, we're all talking to each other, ain't not a damn thing regular about Joe Rogan. And he's, in my conclusion, that means my opinion based on just years and years of dealing with people who I, after a while, realize, oh, you getting paid for this, okay? I'm not saying whether he is or not. I'm saying that's my conclusion, all right? He unoperative in my conclusion. And so what I noticed, because I had heard in the anti-nuclear rumor mill that Trump had said the Fukushima word. No, he didn't. He brought it up initially, but it was almost a commercial for nuclear, especially for the little small reactors. Ain't going to be no reactor smaller than 1 atom of radiation, and there's no single dose that has been found to not cause catastrophic damage to organic tissue. And Trump ain't say a damn word against it. He knows what's going on with Fukushima. He met with Shinzo Abe before he was even signed in as president, the first round. And then he met 18 times in total. That there's no American president who has met with a head of state, specifically Japan, like that. Most of the times it wasn't even in the paper. So they were orchestrating something back and forth heavily. And during that broadcast, he also said, but the biggest problem in the world right now is not global warming, it's nuclear warming. And then they just conveniently changed the subject to something so funny. Like, he just dropped the bag. Joe Rogan didn't ask him, what you mean by that? Right? Talk about a mamby-pamby interview, a soft interview. That was definitely it. That was a love fest right there. That was a bromance. And so, I'm trying to not say her name the way that they won't allow me to say her name, but Procyon Loader Dance, to not be allowed in Australia? And Australia, are you serious? They have got, so much history of what they've done to the Aboriginal people there, right? There was a shooting that the shooter swore he did the horrifying carnage on a mosque based on being inspired by Procyon Loader Owens. But at the same time, I'm like, they got agents and operatives all over the daggone place. And they very much want to portray the black woman as just the most despicable character. They did that to the black man first. They took over hip hop to make it seem as if all black men are thugs, so that even if you know better, you have a little, quiet sort of like, oh, what's he about? Right? I even did that with Dr. Shi when I first met him, because he is a brother he's intelligent. He's managed to find a career where he ain't on no schedule. He runs the schedule the way he wants to. So I was selling my jewelry out in front of, on 14th Street, and he would come by at various times. I was like, yo, is this dude a drug dealer? No, he's not. Not at all, definitely not. But at the same time, they embed you with the propaganda, the programming, and it's going to get on in there. So we have to speak back because they're making it seem as if this is something that's part of a gender war that they promoted on their social media. Social media is a utility because it has so much power to wreck whole societies. But they're running it as if it's private industry when we should be the beneficiaries. We should be able to determine, that product, I don't like that product, right? I don't want any inorganic foods in my house. I do my best not to have anything in my house that's not organic. Simple decision. There's not going to be a bunch of people forcing me to eat something I don't want to eat. Not yet. Well, they are. They're forcing all of us to eat the radiation because they're not telling us which foods are more radioactive, and they're allowing all Fukushima food in our food stream. Right? But at the same time, if I don't want to buy a Lamborghini, I don't have to. But when it comes to social media and its false, lying, BS narrative about all of Black us, and they don't treat anybody else on the planet like they treat us. That's one of the reasons I look at the China videos. They have a phenomenon called Dharma. The other people will call them aunties. These are the elder women of China. Oh my God, you have never seen such ghetto behavior in your life. Are all Chinese like that? No, I really sincerely wish the Chinese the best, the very best in working it out. I'm just saying it suits their agenda for Black men and Black women to always be warring with each other. When I don't know how many sisters came in when I did my initial share where I was like, yo, Kamala is evil. And she ain't Black. No, she isn't. It's a big deal, obviously, to them, for them to have that AI image up in there. And they don't even have Kamala. They just have a generic Black woman. And they're like, well, we don't want it to look too racist, so we'll make it kind of attractive. That's not Kamala Harris. And here's Stacey Abrams, who was one of them, oh goodness gracious, Procyon loaders, who was all a part of the jab it up, roll up them sleeves, propaganda ad nauseum. No question out of these. I don't know if she's in the Boule or the Soros that Kamala was begging, get to work and we can see the results of that. But she ain't on our side. She ain't on our side. So, I don't know. Kamala, they could, do their little ministrations behind the scenes. The next thing you know, she's up in the White House. Right? But I'm just saying that they're scared. They're getting every single sellout they can find and every agenda that they can attach so that they could put it all to a gender war. Oh, Stacey Abrams, there is sexism against Kamala from Black men. I don't like Kamala. I don't like Trump either, but I'll tell you the truth, I'd be a little less, because Trump will be actually more hamstrung than Kamala. That's why they might find a way to get her on up in there anyway. That's why they got all these friggin' super right-wing, Dick Cheney, and I don't know, bunches of others who are like, what? And the KKK has been given to the Democratic Party forever because they know it's part of the strategy to talk us into greater and greater levels of accepting pure deviancy, pure nonsense, out of desperation, out of fear of Trump. We should just be looking at the whole thing and saying, yo, this is set up 100% all the way. and just getting the hell out of here. I'm just saying, we're not, I'm not for, expatriating somewhere, even though I respect those who want to do that. But where you going? Where you going? Fukushima went everywhere, and that's one of the things Trump said, right? The biggest problem we have is nuclear warming. There's certain portions of this genocide that they themselves cannot hide. They can only hope like hell that most people are stupid. And sadly, a significant portion are. Listening to that interview, I was like, wow, this is what passes for who deserves to be the leader of the country. He didn't even explain anything in any great depth whatsoever. I was like I was watching a wrestling match, only it's going to be an election. And that's why I don't listen to those guys, because I know, I'm like, I ain't going to hear anything that's actually detailed and instructional at all. Never, because it's a giant Punch and Judy show. So this is the Maris map, by the way, where you could come yourself. I know I ain't put this together, and just find out how every single water body, because if it's over here, oh look, they started putting it up in lakes and rivers. What's this one? This would be the Colorado River, which is one of the most radiation polluted sites on the planet. I couldn't open that up for some reason. Oh, one sample. There we go. Cesium-134, Cesium-137. Wow. Okay, there you go. So if it's there, trust it's over here too, because that plume came out, and that's one of the things that Trump was talking about China, but he said, oh, something happens in China, it's over our air in 3 days. They were talking about it, but without talking about it. And the final assessment was, if we just get those small nuclear reactors, this will all be fine when it's deadly on a one-atom basis? Oh, hell no. But Trump can sure go to Australia. And so they'll highlight this crap, but they won't showcase about what we're really facing that's in our food on a constant basis. You gonna say no to, do I have to roll up my sleeve? Oh, and that reminds me. Speaking of Stacey supporting, and all the black politicians and spokesmen in the community supporting that nonsense, where they were hunting us off for having any separate conclusion and showing the data, not just our opinions like these dudes when it comes to pro-nuclearism, right? Now people are getting paid for having lost their jobs because they refuse to do this crap. That's a dictatorship. I didn't show the article before, but here it is. Jury, workers fired for refusing COVID-19 vaccine to get more than $1 million each. I guess they're getting these people paid so that maybe they'll sign a non-disclosure agreement after that, and so they don't keep on saying anything. Because these dudes, this is about them. They even had some bishop or whatever the heck come out recently calling Kamala a Satanist. I know that in my conclusion she is. That's just the way it is. I don't even have to say most likely. In my conclusion, she firmly is. But there they are. This was also from Zero Hedge, showcasing her, and this is really disturbing. Let me get out of here. As with the devil himself. And then the next thing, they got somebody who doesn't even look like Kamala, and it's just a black woman. We got to take advantage when they make mistakes like this, because killing the ocean, that was their final chess move. And that's when the king is out, he's captured, the queen, everybody is just removed from the chessboard, because that impacts everybody. As long as they seem to just be hunting us, the whole world doesn't give a damn. But the whole world is eating this crap. Eating this crap. That's a whole different thing, and they keep on lying about the impact of it, the inevitable thing where we're seeing it, where they're trying to come up with every excuse for the epic soaring rise in cancers. I could tell you what the reason is. Chernobyl, Fukushima, and every other damn nuclear power plant out there that they all have to vent radioactive fumes, even the small ones. Right? Be like them little packages with the cookies where they make them extra tiny so you feel like you aren't getting fat as a hell. Still. Hey? It's deadly on a one atom basis. You cannot contain this stuff. They're not going to change the laws of physics just because the power plant is smaller. They're just going to save money. That's all that Trump and Joe were talking about. Was it's going to save us lots of money. They weren't talking about all the death, even though they know about it. Otherwise, they wouldn't have been able to orchestrate that entire conversation like it was a bromance water dance. I'm just saying, look, these dudes, they got their issues. I'm not going to say any more because this is a very sad photo and I have a heart. I don't like people to be in pain, but this is something we can't save. We can't fix them. We can't go door to door, which is where we went wrong. We thought, we could talk them out of racism. No, we can't because it's not. In actuality, it's not racism. They're protecting the spoils of their nature, where they just are like, well, if we could rob something, if we could do harm, it sounds like fun. It makes it exciting. Okay? That's not us. So go on over to 25000yearscycle.org. When one of Beautiful You makes a purchase, I'm going to thank you for it. If you don't hear me thanking anybody for a purchase, that's because somebody has got to go make a purchase. Support your soldiers. You're gonna know us because we're not like the folks who need to get all popular, hundreds and thousands of subscribers, and that means I'm going to change what I'm talking about when I'm the only one talking about what even Trump had to mention, and even his sycophant suck-up Procyon Loader had to talk about in one of her broadcasts. Fukushima, right? Everybody else who's not saying a damn word and you got a bunch of subscribers, stop. You full of crap if you ever heard of my content, and most of them have. So I'm just saying, I need your help through the process of writing my next novel, which is excellent. Oh my goodness. Right? So go on over here and right down here, Dr. She has got all of his work and his incredible formulas. That brother, he just studies constantly. I would say more, but it is what it is, right? Neither one of us are like braggadocio people. I'm just saying what is real. And click on the link, Ajali Shabazz, and here's all of my products. The silk hair is extraordinary. The soap is extraordinary. I just did an interview with the amazingly brilliant sister, Angela Riley, on her podcast, Writing While Black. And oh, what a wonderful conversation. Wow. It was extraordinary. And it was two sisters. Ayoka was the other sister, and she's also a writer. And they're readers. And so they had read my books, and you kind of forget when you do a project and you're so close to it. And I'm me. I've been with me all my life. And so I'm sort of like, okay, yeah, it's her again. And so I've undervalued the beauty of my first two novels, This Black and the sequel, This Black Nation. They read me quotes that I was like, I wrote that? Oh my goodness. That lady needs to keep on writing, okay? And so that was so inspirational because being pro-black, whoa, that's a tough thing. That's a tough thing to be. But I can't be anything else because that's what is to the core, my nature. I love the truth. I love you. That makes sense. If you, like, Candace, she's saying she's that intelligent. She doesn't want to be with black people, but she walking around with some creamy crack hair. Stop. You ain't bright at all, okay? I'm just saying, I'm not mad at the sisters who, you got further to go before you embrace the amazingness of your own DNA fully. And so I'm not mad at you, but with someone like her, come on, stop. Yeah. I'm looking up at my desktop while I'm also talking. Go on over to 25000yearcycle.org and get your heal on in Furnace of Affliction, healing radiation damage to the human body, and with all of Dr. Shee's astounding knowledge on how to heal the melanated body. I love you. Mwah! Straight black pride, and we will be here forever. Peace and blessings.